Welcome to Matt's Financial and Geopolitical from the Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. Let me start with something that caught my attention. Spotting World, Alaska, B737 arriving with a beautiful sunset. And then resplendent sunrise today at the Kenyan coast. That's photographs by Josefa Ganiji. And finally, in the Home Thought section, of photographs, Earth's atmosphere may have been leaking oxygen onto the moon for billions of years. New Scientist, and that took me to Rumi. Thirst drove me down to the water, where I drank the moon's reflection. Came across the poem called Home by Warsan Shire via Seeker's Hub and Quartz Africa. Let me read a little bit. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats, the boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing until the blade burned threads into your neck, and even then you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. It's a longer poem than that, but that's pretty powerful, isn't it? Political reflections. Well, this morning I went back to Vladislav Surkov, to his concept of a constant state of destabilized perception, which is what I think is going on here. David Wessel, Trump fires acting Attorney General Sally Yates after she declines to defend his travel ban. The White House acting Attorney General has betrayed the Department of Justice by refusing to enforce a legal order designed to protect the citizens of the US. That took me back to Beppe Grillo. This is the deflagration of an epoch. It's the apocalypse of this information system. And a quote by Stephen Bannon, and I'll get to his importance in a moment. Lenin wanted to destroy the state, and that's my goal too. I want to bring everything crashing down and destroy all of today's establishment. My piece over the weekend was how Donald Trump turns up the volume up to 11. Please take a look if you didn't yesterday. Bannon, Stephen Bannon, is given security role usually held for the generals. It started with the doom-hued inauguration homily to American Carnage in United States cities, co-written by Mr. Bannon, followed a few days later by his shut up message to the news media. The week culminated with the blizzard of executive orders, mostly hatched by Mr. Bannon's team and the White House policy advisor Stephen Miller, aimed at disorientating the enemy, fulfilling campaign promises and distracting attention from Mr. Trump's less than flawless debut. But the defining moment for Mr. Bannon came Saturday night in the form of an executive order giving the rumpled right-wing agitator a full seat on the Principals Committee of the National Security Council. And this is the incredible bit, while downgrading the roles of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Director of National Intelligence, who will now attend only when the Council is considering issues in their direct areas of responsibilities. It is a startling elevation of a political advisor to a status alongside the Secretaries of State and Defense and over the President's top military and intelligence advisors. And that's pretty extraordinary, isn't it? I don't know how you sell that. Susan Rice called it stone cold crazy. A source told Carrasquillo Bannon is on the National Security Council because of his knowledge of the global populist and nationalist movements. And it certainly was a weekend of chaos and conflict. Produced, however, one piece of clarity: Stephen Bannon is the central force shaping Donald Trump's presidency. Panic set in Friday evening into Saturday with people taken off international flights, refugees and visa holders detained at airports, and lawyers and protesters parachuted into the tumult after President Donald Trump's executive order banning immigrants from 7 Muslim countries. Latest evidence that Trump was following through on the radical departure from US norms on immigration that he had promised throughout his campaign. Vanity Fair came up with a very interesting piece about can Jared and Ivanka outrun Donald Trump's scandals. And this is interesting. Kushner, along with his wife Ivanka Trump, is also an Orthodox Jew who observes Shabbat. From sundown on Friday until sundown on Saturday, the couple abstains from technology and work. And early in the incipient Trump administration, that brief period has been unusually fraught. Last week, the president personally called the Park Service on the morning after his inauguration to inquire about the size of the crowds who came to watch him take the oath of office. He subsequently delivered a widely derided speech at CIA headquarters that afternoon, during which he blathered on about the media's treatment of him and his inaugural crowd size. He then sent his press secretary, Sean Spicer, into the briefing room to falsely claim that it was the largest audience for an inauguration in history. During the tumult, some noticed the conspicuous absence of Kushner's allegedly calming presence. He wasn't rolling calls on Saturday when this happened, one person close to Kushner told me last week. To me, that's not a coincidence. The Interceptor saying Obama killed a 16-year-old American in the Yemen, and Trump just killed his 8-year-old sister. This is al-Walaki. We're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran, said General Wesley Clark a few years ago. It is worth noting 6 out of these 7 countries, with the exception of Lebanon, were identified by General Wesley Clark to be taken out and are now the object of President Trump's ban on Muslims' entry to the US. International markets, the S&P 500 had its worst drop since Election Day yesterday. HSBC is calling Trump a currency manipulator. President Trump's rhetoric has been a key factor behind recent US dollar weakness. This is an incredible photo of thousands protesting on Downing Street this evening. That was yesterday evening, based on the Trump protest. I went to school just down the road from there. Currency markets, the euro is at 106.88, dollar index 100.35, dollar yen 113.62, Swiss franc below parity at 0.9953, the pound 124.87, the Australian dollar is at 0.7558, India rupee 67.885, South Korean won 1164.11, the rial 312.67, Egyptian pound 18.9, and the rand has sold off of late on concerns that President Zuma is set to reshuffle his cabinet. I think Private Gordon is a no-go line, I would have thought. And certainly, if he's forced out, you'll see a massive sell-off in the rand. Economic confidence hits a 6-year high in the euro area. That's good news. Greek bond yields continue to climb. Look at the chart. Very interesting piece in Vanity Fair again. The future of Hollywood, why Hollywood as we know it is already over. Subsequently, newspaper advertising revenues fell from $67 billion in 2000 to $19.9 billion in 2014. Movie theatre attendance is down to a 19-year low, with revenues hovering slightly above $10 billion, or about what Amazon, Facebook, or Apple stock might move on a single day. Saying the real threat is in China, it's Silicon Valley. Hollywood, in its over-reliance on franchises, has ceded the vast majority of the more stimulating content to premium networks and over-the-top services such as HBO and Showtime, and increasingly digital native platforms such as Netflix and Amazon. The real threat was that Netflix was doing it all with the power of computing. Soon after House of Cards' remarkable debut, the late David Carr presciently noted in the Times, "The spooky part, executives of the company knew it would be a hit before anyone shouted action. Big bets are now being informed by big data." Talk about Netflix as merely managed to get DVDs to people more quickly by streaming, disrupt the business plan of the traditional once-a-week ad-supported television show, and help solidify the verb binge in today's culture. Then saying there are other more dystopian theories which predict that film and video games will merge and we will become actors in a movie, reading lines or being told to look out as an exploding car comes hurtling in our direction. Not too dissimilar from Mildred Montag's evening rituals in Fahrenheit 451. When we finally get there, you can be sure of two things. The bad news is that many of the people on the set of a standard Hollywood production won't have a job anymore. The good news, however, is that we'll never be bored again. Commodity markets, look at this crude oil chart from David Inglis giving you an idea. I'm not bullish at all. Everybody's long here, and I think we could see a sharp fall lower. Gold, 1200 area, but that too I'm not bullish about. I prefer Bitcoin, which is back at 93,000 on the spread versus gold. Let's move on to Africa. AU Summit 2017 was considering and accepted the application by Morocco to become a member of the African Union. The ANC put out a very bold and aggressive statement regarding Morocco's accession to the EU. Take a look at that. I like this photograph from CCTV, Good Morning Africa, AU Summit 2017. Swiss authorities have arrested a former Gambian minister on allegations of crimes against humanity. So you can see that, when you actually leave power, that is the most dangerous moment. Who will follow ECOWAS's example next? This is a very aggressive intervention on behalf of President Adama Barrow. Economic revival beckons for Sudan after US lifts sanctions. This is in Bloomberg, interesting as well. Black Ops, alternate facts, and damn lies. The ANC's escalating credibility crisis. As more details emerged at the weekend about the covert operation to pump up the ANC's election campaign and spread fake news about opposition parties, the party continued to deny knowledge and involvement. It has nothing to do with the ANC. The problem is they're not competent. Soon you could buy shares at Nando's. Obviously Nando's sells peri-peri chicken in countries including the UK, the US, Australia, India, Malaysia and Qatar. Very tasty as well. South African all shares up 3.96% this year. Dollar versus Rand backed up on the reshuffled talk. 13.5171 last time I looked. The combined order books for the 5, 10 and 30-year bonds that Egypt sold exceeded $13.5 billion. And they sold $4 billion worth. And obviously are probably going to come and tap the market for some more, maybe not in dollars, it's implying. The Egyptian pound is at 18.90. The Nigerian naira fell against the dollar to 500 on the black market, as the nation's dollar scarcity worsens, according to abokifx.com. And this is the point, the fundamental paradox at the heart of President Buhari's government is the Naira, and investors are sidelined, waiting for President Buhari's moment of epiphany. Nigeria's asked Goldman Sachs and Standard Bank to advise it on the sale of a debut diaspora bond. Nigerian all share down 2.45% this year. Ghana Stock Exchange up 4.82% year to date. Mozambique fell prey to the promises of fabulous wealth. Now it can't pay nurses. Lots of interesting detail to the story there in The Guardian. Kenya, MPC therefore decided to retain the central bank rate at 10% in order to anchor inflation expectations. Private sector credit growth stabilized at 4.3% in December, said the central bank. Message sent by the Kulbiyo attack is loud and clear. Al-Shabaab is still a force to be reckoned with. While the battle rages in Somalia and Kenya, the battle lines ahead of the election are being drawn. And Somalia was always going to be a major point of difference between the ruling party and the opposition. Al-Shabaab are making it harder and harder for the ruling party to defend its position. Al-Shabaab have always been canning propagandists, and their latest attack on Kubiyo is no exception. While the details of the attack remain sketchy, there is no doubt that its impact is already being felt in Mogadishu, Nairobi, and Addis Ababa. There was this interesting story that came out on some funny link tv-bbc.com. 100 visas per year for Kenya. Donald Trump signs the executive order. And really, somebody was saying that's fake news, but even if it's fake news, it's pretty curious, isn't it? That you have to ask yourself, who would go to the trouble to put out such a thing? And it doesn't bode well, I don't think. Bounty Brands has put on ice plans to acquire Kenyan firm as a springboard to the East African market, instead opting to ship its supplies. Our business model normally includes the acquisition of successful businesses in our target countries to serve as a platform for expansion. But we have found the pricing of such businesses to be prohibitive in Kenya and have found better value in Central and Eastern Europe. Bounty has in the past made a string of acquisitions valued at more than 1.2 billion South African rand. German Deutsche Bank closed down National Bank of Kenya accounts over suspected money laundering. Have a look at this chart from the FT, Kenyan banking stocks since 2009. Kenya shilling just around the 104 level. Nairobi all share down 9.06% this year. And the NSE 20 is down 12.45% this year. OUTRUN reported its full year earnings finally. It reported a loss, earnings per share of 7.77, net sales down a whopping 50.387%. Narrowed the loss 23% to 2.67 billion from 3.51 billion last time round. Shareholders' equity, they're posting at negative 2 billion, no dividend. Performance was impacted by the closure of non-performing branches in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, and supply chain challenges. Group losses reduced by 17%. They're saying the search for a strategic investor is ongoing. However, the auditors, in their opinion, said the above financial information has been extracted from the financial statement, which were audited by KPMG Kenya, who issued a disclaimer of opinion on the group financial statements due to lack of audit evidence on foreign subsidiaries up to the date of loss of control, and a qualified opinion on company financial statements with regard to lack of audit evidence on property and equipment's opening balances. Obviously, a big scaling back evidenced in the 50.387% decline in full-year net sales. You would have thought there was a big opportunity still in the supermarket space. Put up a photograph of Jonathan Siano, who was the CEO of OUTRUN. At one point, OUTRUN was riding very high. Everready also reported a full-year loss, earnings per share of minus just under a shilling, 98 cents, sales down 50.799%, finance costs up. Company experienced a challenging out-of-stock situation occasioned by lack of supplies from our global supplier of carbon, zinc and alkaline batteries, which adversely affected supply for a considerable period during the year under review. 51% decline in full-year revenues, closed operations in Uganda. They are going to sell the Nakuru property in order to clear the debt and provide sufficient working capital to support the distribution business. No dividend. I think they should just exit the battery business and return the surplus funds from land sales to shareholders. Kenya Airways put out a Q3, October to December 2016 update. Passenger numbers bumped up 4.8%, cabin factor bumped up 400 basis points to 72%. It's been a brutal period at the stock market. Let's see if we start to stabilize, because we should soon. Once again, thank you.